Bit of clearance, don't do any harm. Right, time to fit the hinges. I'll lay them out where I think I want them. Make sure I get them the right way to the brace. Right, I'm going to use one of these, chopping in the hinges. I've got half a dozen kicking around, easy to make, different sizes for different hinges. That depth there is the same as the leaf, and it's a bit snug. Just a little snug, so I put it in the saw, take a sliver off there. But that's how I made it basically. Parallel piece of wood. Mark that. Lots of cuts on the saw, or you can do it on the sled. And I just screw them to the door. And then I've got this little flush trim bit. It's the one with the copper bit on it there. So that's my mark. I put an X next to it so I get it the right side of the line. Then that sits just there. I'll screw it down. So using the leaves of the hinge, lock that off. But I don't want it this full depth, I want it just slightly shallow. So when I lift it up, I'll just move this plate down a bit. On here there's little marks, so I'll just release that. It's quite stiff, so just tap it down a fraction. You can always make it deeper. The first cut, I'll go backwards. The cutter will be cutting like that, so it'll be cutting into this. If I do it that way, if I go that direction, it might break out this edge. It looks a bit splintery. So the first cut, I'll make a little trim cut, a little score cut. I'll clean up the corners using this. It's only got these tiny little flat bits to get in place, so it's a bit fiddly, so I look down it and try and parallel those two. There you go. So I've got my pencil line there, my X. Could put 2 screws in, but the weight of the router pushes it in enough. Plus I'll have 2 holes to fill. Right, I had to adapt my jig. It'd have been easier to take the beading off actually. Put a different cutter on, It's a bit extended, a bit too far extended. I'm trying to decide where to put the handle, fit the lock. Normally from the floor to the handle, centre of the handle, a metre from the floor. This has got a small step in, and then it's quite a short door. That's a metre. But I've got my tenon here for my rail, and I'm going to be chopping into here, so I think I'm going to stick with that. I don't think it looks too bad. It's hard to tell in this position, but I didn't want the handle too far up the door. But I don't have a lot of choice because of this tenon, this mortise for this one, for this rail. So that's where it's going to be. I'll chop the lock in. Normally I just use an auger bit image drill. I don't have jigs and things. It's too late for me to be buying that sort of thing, but just I'll show you this. How bent that is. It's a bit small as well. Handle's going to be very close to the bead that goes on the edge of the door. I do the outside cut first, this one, because if it kicks, at least it's just going into the hole. Then I'll turn my bit around and cut the other side. That's my 1 metre mark. Handle goes there. You can see it through there. I've got a little bit down the middle, so I'll just freehand that. So it's got this bit on it. It's a crap lock, this. You take a bit more out there and there. I just need to sink it a bit more to allow for this. square there. This bit of wood just happens to fit in there. I've got an auger bit in the van that'd probably do better, but it's a bit rough, so. Right, back here, cold today, but all I've done is taken off some of the concrete, metal bits that were sticking out, a little bit of the plaster around here, that's going to come back, and it's pretty square, pretty level, pretty plumb. So what I'm going to do is just get a couple of fixings down, put some foam underneath, some squirty foam. If it was slightly out of level I'd be tempted to put some cement underneath, but it's not. So a bit of foam, get a couple of fixings in the top there, and hang the door, see how it looks. And then I'll fit the frame to the shape of the door. Right, there, big 130's in there. And before I fix the top, I'm just going to stand the door in, see what it looks like. Right, so there's a bit of a gap down there to nothing, same on that side, gap there to nothing. So what I'll do is put some packers in, push that leg over and get it as close as I can with the doors just stood in like that. Get some fixings in, stand the door back in, have a look, see what I think. Right, I ain't got all my tools with me, they're right up there in the van. But I know from pushing it around that this had to be hard back. It's touching some concrete back there, so I've just screwed that hard back to the wall. And that's given me a parallel gap down there. I've got windbag things, but I don't know whether they'd push this. I don't really trust them anyway. And they're back in the van. So what I'll do now is swing the door, put the hinges on, put a couple of fixings in there. It's a bit difficult to get packers in, so I've done what I can. This is hard back to the concrete up here anyway, but the gap's looking, it's a little low, but I don't mind. And now from there I can see that the bottom, this frame wants to go hard back. If I push it all the way back, it looks about right. Got a couple of fixings in there, like I say. There's a couple in the bottom. So all I've got to do now is pull this back a bit, get a fixing in, see how the door shuts. I had to just sink the hinges in just a little bit, but I bought my little jig and the router, and the screw hole's still there, so it was just a case of screwing it on, routing out a bit more. I'm going to have a cup of tea now. I know it's a bit awkward me showing you how to fix this, but basically fix that leg that's got the hinges on, swing the door, and then fit the frame to suit the door. You can pull it into twist and everything then. Right, that leg's fixed in place. It's a bit awkward getting packers in this dodgy wall, so I've packed it where I could. And then it's got 130mm screws in. I ain't got stainless for them, and I could have used frame fixings with the raw plug that goes all the full length, but they're a bit awkward to adjust, so I've just gone with steel screws. They're pacified, I think, but that looks okay. Bit of a big gap at the top, but like I say, I'm not bothered about that. Think about getting the lock on, see if the handle misses. Right, these handles came with 2 spindles, one massive one and the other one's too long, as always. It's a standard size door, so you'd think it'd be alright. Little grinder's going to sort that out there. Just cut a bit off. Right, locks in, handles are fine. What I'm going to do, mark that, mark them all. But for this keep, I only need to mark top and bottom because it's just one piece. And what I'll do, put that on, put it hard up against the keep, against the latch. I'll put a pencil mark there. And I'll just check that the door that's flush. So what I can do now is, you can't see it, but I've got my pencil line down there from those marks, line that up, line my pencil line up to the edge of the frame. Got my pencil in my mouth at the moment. I'll line that up, draw around it, chop it in, and I'll use my auger to get this big deep bit in. Finally got that chopped in. It's quite hard work, that. It all works. Squirt some foam around it. I'm not going to put a weather mould on. You saw me cut a chamfer on it. I think if I put a weather mould on, water might get in there and cause more problems than it's worth. We'll see. I've sanded this back. It's got bevel on it already, but I sanded the inside here back. That needs some filler in. Lots of paint. Right, that's it. 6 o'clock, I'm going home. I'm not doing the pointing, he's having loads done. He's falling to bits, this place, I think. He's having all this pointing done, so he's going to get somebody else to do that. Sealant touches the door well, all the way around.